All right, here we go again. So, what happened that day is what I've been speaking about. They were being radicalized by the psychological operation as a whole. And in this psychological operation, they dehumanize ICE officers. Now, I guarantee both of those women are angry at something in the world, not altruistically. And that's what these operators tap into. I guarantee if you researched it, you'd find Miss Good and her wife speaking ill of foreigners somewhere. Right. So it's not really, that's not really it. They're just activist types, angry at something, and they look for something to be angry at. And the professionals give them something to be angry at. Those are professional con men and con women. Now, Mrs. Good's wife couldn't even tell you where it would have ended that day, how far they would have went, because she was radicalizing, working herself up into a fervor. So, drive, baby, drive, then what? So again, you're coming to a conclusion that that's all there was. Drive, baby, drive, and then they would have went and got lunch and waited to pick up their kid because that's all they were doing anyway, right? Dropping off their kid. But of course, that was bullshit. You have no idea what the next command would have been after drive, baby, drive. You don't know where that car would have went, who it would have tried to run over. Let's say he didn't fire, and she ran into him, and he fell to the side. And let's say she didn't even turn her wheel real quick like that, because that's maybe what caused her to turn her wheel like that, staring straight down 44. Nobody knows what she would have done. People that murder a lot of times accidentally kill somebody first, and then they go out and become a serial killer. Right? So who knows how she would have reacted the first time she ran over an ICE officer. Again, she realizes in her mind, or she thinks in her mind, that ICE officers are less than human. Right? There's no doubt, or she wouldn't have been there. She doesn't even think they're cops. They think immigration law is just something somebody made up, some MAGA dude made up. When in fact, if ICE wasn't doing what they were doing, they'd all be either prostitutes or dead. You're not going to fight them off. They're not going to be your buddy very long until you do what they want. That's how it works in their country. But then again, their cops would have just shot them. And nobody would be allowed to say anything. Right. So nobody even knows how far it would have went. They were obviously radicalizing when the officers took them down. That's not being an observer. That's not even warning people. They have no idea what they're doing. They're totally unhinged. This is how they get their self-worth, because they don't do shit in their life but crazy activist crap. When everybody else going in the military, they're doing something else. When everybody else is volunteering for law enforcement, they're doing something else. When Larry was in Santa Fe fighting the narcos, just so he can do charity for people that they were out there smoking a spliff, probably getting high and saying how wonderfully caring they all are. Right. So again, there's no representation on the left that makes any sense. Because even if it was a bad shoot, they created a situation, but for their activity, it would have been quiet. There'd have been no problems. Do we have a total number of minutes that she beeped her horn? I mean, we can present that to Hennepin County Attorney and ask her if she wants to press charges. Or is this something normal that people are allowed to do all day throughout the city and the county? I guarantee if Minneapolis PD was in front of a house dealing with a situation and Mrs. Good even drove next to the curb without being blocking, in the middle of the road, which is illegal. I guarantee they'd rip her out of her car and cuff her. Which is probably what should have happened so she wouldn't get shot. And then again, maybe she would have fought you too. Then we could get to the meat of the matter as to whether it was just ICE or she's just that type of person who doesn't obey the law. That's what that is. That's lawlessness. Right. Oh, no, it's because of ICE, just like with me. Oh, our officers aren't corrupt. It's because of him. So yeah, I told you for years to get rid of that. ICE Watch is a criminal conspiracy, committing several felonies almost every day. Next to ICE Watch doesn't exist. Show us where their chain of command is, where their central. You know what that is? That's a bunch of Democrat pieces of shit, namely politicians, that invented a system that they believe beats our criminal justice system. That's all it is. It's not that they're innocent. It's just, hey, we figured out how to beat the criminal justice system. But they didn't. I guarantee they're making statements every day, agreements, and then committing felonies based upon those agreements, or even overt acts, but that are prosecutable as criminal conspiracies. Every day, you talk about people not caring. Do you know that every person, or just about every person that was Antifa, committed a criminal conspiracy? You don't have to commit the act. Just say you hate cops and you want to beat them up and go buy a club. And a bunch of people sit in the line make that agreement. So they didn't prosecute a lot of these Antifa people. It has nothing to do with no centralized leadership. ICE Watch is doing the same thing. You don't actually have to assault a federal officer to be guilty of a conspiracy to assault, a conspiracy to stalk. Just make an agreement and do something in furtherance of it. ICE Watch has already done that. But again, change of venue is something you should consider. The what do they call that? The golden thing. You should strive every day for perfecting change of venue, and you'll destroy their system. And you'll try the governor of Minnesota in Texas or something. You couldn't use Texas; they would claim the same thing. But there's a lot of arguments that can be made in federal court against all of these clowns in Minnesota. They're not normal. They're not lawful. I'm talking about the governments. Federal judges, you find a right federal judge, he'll eat them up and spit them out. Not protecting their people for their own political and personal gain. Putting their people out there to be shot. Remember, that's the game. Get the monkey off their own backs. Democratic Party and their leadership in Minnesota, including Minneapolis, Minnesota, willfully and with criminal intention, recklessly endangered their citizens. Wanting them to believe that ICE is just this useless piece of shit that we don't need. I'm sure in ICE there's some useless pieces of shit they don't need. And they're probably under investigation. But hey, not the entire agency. Right. So again, the facts are that what Walz and his people, what Fry and his people are telling, are saying, are motivating is fraud. That's what actually caused Mrs. Good to be dead, fraud. From government officials and their private sector criminal cronies, such as ICE Watch. They use that dehumanized stuff on Jonathan Luna. They kept talking to me about him. I kept fighting it. I don't like to be in that bullshit. Right. So I tried to keep, be neutral with him, and but it doesn't have any. It's just like somebody's paying somewhere. That's all. I mean, I didn't know back then, but that's what it is. Right. Right. Remember, it goes back to Kroll, the spy, the former spy Mossad, Weinstein. Same people, man. Weinstein was a big Dem. He was in the same system they're using against ICE. They would have did the same thing that they're doing to ICE. They'd have done it to Rose McGowan if they had time. That was the initial workup. And that's why Kroll's people never were charged with anything. They're big Democrat operators. That's it. Same people going after ICE. Told you for years. But you want to listen to Comey and Mueller and McCabe and their cronies. Agreed. So they're going to sue you because you're surging into a state that's out of control. In reality, you need to bring the military. But hey, we'll settle for federal agents. Now they're going to sue about the federal agents. Give them an inch, they try to take a mile. I'm telling you, if the judge rules it, I think the judge should rule it frivolous myself, because the law says that you get to do that. Now, of course, they're going to try to put it in front of one of their tards. Right. But you should, the taxpayers spending so much money. You should bring that up. That these libtards are costing frivolous lawsuits. Most of them don't go even 75%. So what the libtard does, if they get like one thing in court, go, that's what it's like. So again, I highlighted something earlier. Investigative techniques can cause paranoia, I guess slight paranoia if you're not guilty, but it can cause confusion and chaos. But it's because they're guilty of crimes. Right? And they might be deported because they're not supposed to be here. Right? That's where the chaos and the confusion comes from. It's a psychological reaction to being a crook, I guess, as far as around large numbers of law enforcement capable to investigate something that was never investigated before because the president was a criminal, or at least the people that set it up. I mean, I don't think Biden was there very much. Right. It would be his number 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. Right. No, I honestly don't think Harris was part of that kind of stuff. I think she was just doing her thing, trying to be, supportive of the things she supported. But, right. Obviously, they weren't going to do anything that they said they were going to do this go around because they're so far in the other direction. Right. Now, Fetterman, he's honest, or pretty honest. He's weird, but honest. Well, because he needs to figure out how to support Israel while condemning the killing of children. And the answer isn't Hamas, because if Hamas is the answer, then you're telling me Israel's Hamas, or the same as Hamas. You see the problem there? Right. They actually blew it. There was a better way to do it. Would have been marvelous. Would have been the greatest psychological operation in the history of Israel. Actually, back when Bush, Condoleezza Rice, they erased all this part of my Facebook, but it tried to act like somebody hacked or something. But it was Bush, Condoleezza Rice, Ehud Olmert, me. Was Ehud Barak behind him back then? I can't remember. I know he was later. Right. Well, I'm big. I might not have an office or a lot of money, but I'm big. Once I push the button for something, it starts moving. Regardless of whether people stop it or not, it moves. Right. Well, essentially, the Democrats signed a death knell. It never stopped. Like they'll say, well, the Democrats did more and they weren't deporting immigrants. What do you think they did? They went over. So again, it never stopped. Once I told you the immigrants need to go because they're just, they're doing all this crazy organized crime and racketeering. Right. They're essentially taking over the United States and causing it to be a third world country in those communities. Right. It never stopped because part of what's happening now is what Biden and his people did. Like I said, blame Biden and his people. Actually, blame the people that were the criminals to begin with. And then, of course, they bribed everybody, and then they said, hey, we want more of these people in here. Right. Now, politicians aren't interested in people that don't have money. That's why they block me from money. So they would have money and they could bribe the politicians. That includes corrupt government people like Comey, Mueller, and their cronies. And again, All it takes is their dehumanization operations. And again, a lot of people just want money anyway, so they don't really care. Yeah, sounds good to them because they want money. That simple. Trying to send threats metaphysically. Well, fuck them dead. Whoa. Whoa. You and your family's dead. That easy. That fucking easy. You want to fucking hurl curses? Fuck you and fuck your families. Whoa. I'm not out there standing in front of somebody's vehicle or driving in a vehicle in front of somebody. Okay? So don't try to act when I fuck you from here that I'm somehow a criminal. You're all out there going back and forth. I'm just here. Yeah, ICE, DHS, I know you're fuckers. And I know if you could fuck me today, you would. And you just fucked me. So fuck you and fuck your families too. Fucking going after my grandmother like that. Fuck the FBI. My bubby. You fucking psychologically operate my fucking bubby. She goes out once a week to a fucking store to go shopping. And Rick Henry orders her fucking hit. Gary Sutherland orders her fucking hit. Fuck them and fuck your families. Motherfuckers. They're sitting there online fucking me right now from ICE. From fucking DHS. From the why? Because you're a fucking criminal, you fucking cunts and whores. I don't give a fuck whether you have a problem the way I fucking speak. Fuck you for cursing me. I am sorry. They think it's funny, man, that I support them while they fucking curse me. They think it's funny for fucking 25 fucking years, at least. Now you, the average person, you don't know they're cursing you. You just think you can't get anywhere in life, like I thought. No, I'm law enforcement. You're a fucking bitch, all of you. A bitch for foreign powers. A bitch for Satan. A bitch for stolen money. A bitch for failed wars so you can have $1 billion to play deep state with. I put up with it day after day after day, but there's a point where I'll fuck you back. You're not fooling me. Quit laughing. The people who were in it before, they're in hell. Real hell. I don't know that ISIS was helping us and we're fucking doing him. You don't think I know ISIS fucking me? You don't think I know DHS is Border Patrol and everybody's fucking me? I'm an American, motherfucker. You're a fucking bitch for foreign powers, all of you. So Mrs. Good was wrong, but those fuckers are wrong. And you want to pass the idea that I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow if I only do the right thing. Again, fuck you and fuck your families. And that's only the people that are doing it. So don't tell me, oh, Bud, you see, he's turning on us, Bud. So if you're doing it, you're fucked. And your families are fucked. Only a matter of time, all of you. I still take care of the underdog. I still take care of the person that's the victim. So don't be some Nazi fuckhead like Henry, Hughes, Shelton. Quit. And then act like you're the victim. That's the worst thing that can happen, is that your curses come up above a certain point. That's the worst thing that can happen. Because then I fuck you back. Somebody needs to do this. The rest of the fucking country's running for their own fucking money, their own fucking orgy, their own fucking narcotic, or some bullshit like Mrs. Good was into. Think they're fucking funny. Oh, he's the snake. He's the whistleblower. We'll get him. Everybody, generally, that was a whistleblower was killed by the deep state first, and that's the scam. When you say something, then you're the whistleblower. In my case, I sent my retirement paperwork in, and they wouldn't put it forward. Never said a fucking thing. They called internal on each other all day fucking long. Working with a bunch of fucking class clowns and snitch bitches. Right. Instead of doing their fucking job. Those curses are going to work. And they're going to work quicker than they've ever worked. That's just the way it is, fuckers. Oh, I could have been a Christian, but I wasn't. You didn't want that, right? Well, then fine. I'll be an angel of vengeance. You're not sorry, all of you. You think you're the intelligent thing because you work for Facebook or X and you got millions of dollars and you block my messaging. They destroy everybody around me till they treat me like I'm the non-human. You're bound for hell, all of you. No church is going to get you out of it. No synagogue is going to get you out of it. Be afraid. Be very afraid. This is your thing, man. You stand in front of their vehicle, they run you over. I'm here to help you and help the planet get forward to the bullshit so regular people can have a normal life. Instead of the games of the billionaires and millionaires and the political giants. Remember, God can touch Putin's head and he can push that button in a second, man. In a second. And your little San Francisco house worth $70 million ain't going to be worth a penny. It'll be fused into glass and grains of sand. Fucking idiots. Every day, projecting their shit, and I heal it. And I heal it. And I heal it. It's not a test for me, all of you. It's a test for all of you. You know what they project? Oh, the money's coming at you, bro. Pretty soon. Been doing that for like 25 years. Feeds their fantasy. That I'm just like them, actually. But you're evil, all of you. And I'm fighting evil. Oh, I should be like Christ, the person that you have no fucking clue who he is, what he said, and how it works. The Pope barely knows who Christ is. Right? And actually, Jesus isn't Christ. He's of the Christ. Right? What they did is they combined the two entities, Christ being God, right, and Jesus being the Son of Christ. Oh yeah, I should listen to some 3rd century Roman emperor who developed all Christianity and a bunch of Greeks, pagan Greeks. That's who sat down and said, this is Christianity, this is what the Jewish guy said. Oh, he's not Jewish, right? He's Jesus. He's Roman. Oh, no, but I'm Baptist. I understand that, buddy. So you see the twisted web they wove. They do the same shit in law enforcement with the corrupt ones. You know, Mrs. Good and her wife, that's who people I worked with. Same kind of shit. Chief Quick and Elizabeth Quick and Karen Shelton. In my life, getting my grandmother fucked, getting my mother fucked, breaking up my marriage for CIA handlers that pay them big bucks. Right. That's what that is. That's why you had that juice. I never knew what the juice was until Jim Spicer told me what was going on in my life. They work for CIA, and they murder federal officers and disable them. That's who Rick Henry was. That's who Hughes was. Hughes was put in for the big takeover. He already murdered a few state troopers using psychology and that shit. He's a devil. I felt his spells while I was asleep. I'm sure he felt mine while I was awake once I left and woke up. You want to play games, all of you, and project that the money's coming? I told you not to do that. I don't know how many times. I said, when you send the money, fine, I'll get it. Because in their mind, oh, he thinks we're going to pay him. Come next year, the Lord says, many of you are going to wish you paid me because the Lord's going to act. And the Lord is not Jesus. Will you stop doing that into my mind? The Lord is the Almighty God. Jesus is the Son of God, who was a rabbi, and for some people, a Messiah. Well, if the Greeks and the Romans hadn't screwed it up, and that includes the Baptists and the Presbyterians and everyone else, we all could have had him as a Messiah if his work would have moved untouched. And the fact is, most of those people don't have him as a Messiah because it's not what he said. They're worshiping Satan and calling it Jesus. I'm having a nervous breakdown? No, not really. A moment of clarity. How about that? You and your FBI psychologists can go to fucking hell for ruining people's lives using wartime lethal psychology. Shame on all of you. Now the question is Mrs. Good being manipulated by CIA operators working for Kroll or some other crony of Satan and organized crime and foreign powers? Question is the anti-ICE movement actually being moved by CIA contractors that are protected by pieces of shit in FBI today, pieces of shit in ICE today, pieces of shit in DHS today, blowing smoke up all your asses? If I'm saying it, it's probably true to some degree, if not an absolute degree. Start looking at your own people. They may actually be the anti-ICE movement. Right? Or they're cronies on the outside. I'm just a down-to-earth person, would love to be paid, but I'm doing the same work I've been doing for 30, 40 years. The work that you either won't or can't do. Thanks, Larry. Do you think God thinks it's great that Mrs. Good, the one that was berating the ICE officer, walked away with $1.5 million, and you won't even let me have $100,000 when you owe me $1.5 billion? I call in that marker again. We'll just turn your lives upside down. So what they do is they start projecting while I'm praying. Oh, but you're God. They're projecting that. Because CIA have done that, or has done that to others, and they walked around one, just because I say I'm an angel, they think I'm going to think that I'm God. Like it's some bullshit. And they know it's not bullshit. That's what eats them the fuck up. But you have your fun. Once I leave the planet, it's over, and I'll be back as an angel or greater. No, it's worth $1.5 billion, no doubt. We're talking about 35 years of wrecking my life in an increasing fashion as they became more anti-powerful in government, outside government. Foreign powers, Russians. Everybody I worked for got money from Russians somehow, or worked with. Right. Look, Dick Goodwin didn't pay you. The Russians did. Or whoever else was paying you. They're spies, man. But they're the best of the best because the CIA's taking the same money. That's why they got rid of Bob Levinson. They hate anti-Russians. Right. I bet spy operators triggered Iran into kidnapping Bob. I guarantee it. U.S. spy operators who wanted him gone set the whole thing in motion, including sitting behind cloaking mechanisms, manipulating Iran to do it. I guarantee it. I guarantee the same people who killed John took out Bob Levinson. And the same people that plagued my life took out Bob Levinson for Russian payment. They took money from China. They took money from Russia. They're whores. Now they pay it now at social media. Oh, come get your job at social media. Right. Enough's enough. Everybody might sit around and take your shit. I'll fuck you off. Nixon loved it. He was here. So you know what they use religion for? Oh, but you have to take it. You're like, Jesus, what would Jesus do? He'd fuck you off. He might do it different than me, but he's somebody else. He's not me. He doesn't have my mission. I'm doing greater works than he was. Right? Are you a Christian all the time or just when it beefs up your bank account and makes you feel like a powerful person to fuck off injured disabled men when they come to your church looking for some fellowship? That's all that was. So all the bullshit you want to say to PA State Police and PA investigators, you should be put in prison in this state for lying to the law enforcement entities in this state. Right. Prison. No federal supremacy. Doesn't exist for what you just did and what you've done. Meanwhile, the real criminals are running around. Anti. Right. Living the life of Riley. The CIA cuts him a check to somebody else. So again, the deep state created incel. The deep state created born this way. Whether you're born that way or not, neither here nor there. I'm just telling you they used it as a psyop. So the question is, did these spy operators, current, former, whoever it is, right, create the anti-ICE movement. They're manipulating us with it. Right. And they're paying their people through it. If they're doing it. They created incel, born this way. There was another one. I can't remember the other one. There's a psyops. They get off, man. They get off blocking men from women and trying to make them gay. They get off on it. That's your government. That's the CIA people I speak about. That's the people I worked with. Most likely the woman at Facebook that we know who she is, right, she's probably part of it. She's not to be honored. She's not really about fixing the issues and healing crimes against children and crimes against women and whoever other else, the sex crimes. Right. She's out for number one, always has been. Besides being one of the loons like Mrs. Good and her wife. Enough of you trying to make me out to be the loon, all of you. And again, they torture you enough, you're going to do what just happened. Right. Believe me, I'm psychic. I know exactly what's going on. Right. Okay, so there's paranoid and paranormal. I'm the guy that tells paranormals how to not be paranoid. Been doing it for years. You walk down, because what happens is you think it's that, like your neighbor over there, because it's built into the spells. But I can walk through my apartment and tell when your curses are up. Because all sorts of crazy shit starts happening. You can't keep your apartment clean. All of a sudden you eat something, you get sick to the stomach when you're having a great day. It's their spells. That's why the world's screwed up. But yet they have it rigged, then when it fails, you call on them for the rescue. Right. Well, I'm just telling you, you pay me, God will bless you. You don't pay me, God will curse you. If you owe me, pay me. And of course, the government of the United States owes me billions. Simply because if Matt Fogg got $4 million for what happened to him, then you owe me $400 million for just that. Right. Right. Something like that. Right. But see, Matt Fogg's part of something. See how it works. Brooks was in the deep state. Matt Fogg was in the deep state, but he was a black guy, not a white guy. Right. So the white deep state tried to take out Matt Fogg. But I wouldn't say Matt Fogg's a total deep state, but he's a player. You know what I mean? He ain't going to do what the deep state tells him. The black deep state tells Matt Fogg what to do. The Democrat Party deep state tells Matt Fogg what to do. Right. So he wasn't real beyond a certain point, but I accepted that he was willing to say something. Right. Now, he didn't have his life ruined. He was very wealthy. Right. See, that's the scam of the deep state. Well, if he was real, we would have paid him. Right. If I was black and a woman back then, I could have got the money easily. Right. So when you want to pick your curses up, you're going to get cursed on. So again, there are people on ICE that are working with, what's the governor's name there? Walls, Governor Walls. Right. And they're cursing me with and for him. That's real. They don't care, man. It's money. They'll play their game out. Satan rewards them. Right. That's the big scam. That's why it never works. Because in the Republican Party, before Trump was ever elected, there was a certain number of deep state people in there. They're just deep state. They're not Republican. They're not Democrat. They just, that's their, if you look in spycraft, that's their, like undercover story, right? Their cover story. I'm a Republican, or their persona. Right? The other ones are, I'm a Democrat. So yeah, they went after my grandmother, my bubby. Harassed her until she harassed me, and then I cut ties. They think it's funny. We did it again. He won't go to his grandmother's house. But when Bubby was down, she gave me a call. What's going to be with me, Larry? Right. Because she knows I'm real. Of course, she's passed on at this point. She paid for it in minor ways. God wasn't going to torture her, for being afraid of the deep state, because that was Bubby's problem. There was no grandfathers left, and my father was gone, so she was like the matriarch of the clan. So everybody respected her, but they messed that up. And part of it is the rest of the family wanted her money. So they wanted me out of the picture. So there's a lot of energy there, but I'll tell you what, deep state's the biggest one. If they hadn't harassed her, she would never said anything, and her and I would have been talking to the end. No, I never knew it was. When I was younger, I was wondering what it was. But I'd see these people. Like, I'd go out looking for my uncle, because my uncle used to be like, they call it, what it is he's deep state operating. He does have psychological issues, but it most likely comes from the deep state operation. So they bank on this idea that, runs in the family kind of deal. But come on, they're harassing people and psychologically torture them. My family must look to the seer like an overly large Jew family. And that's what happens for the evil seekers. I believe that's what did it, and what does it. And we get detected when we're in government. Right. So I used to go out and go get him for my grandmother. Like when he's missing, I'd drive my car, my van, well, actually it was the SUV. I used to drive my SUV around. I had an SUV back then, and I'd go looking for him, between shifts at the prison. But I kind of, there was this idea like, who's that? Who's that? So the deep state was out. They would attack him. Right. They just get paid to do it. So that way, we see he's got psychological issues. So what is the deep state attacks him, and he doesn't know how to protect himself because he never went towards God. Right. Like right now, I just effed you off and I had effed off your anno power. If I didn't eff it off, who knows what it would have done to my mind. I reversed the energy at this point. Then it just doesn't keep coming into me. It makes me a devil. Well, okay. I live day in and day out with God, real God. And it's obvious to people that know. They lied. They false statements. Right. PA State Police already told me inside false statements. They made false statements and they apologized. And I think Ross Township too. Right. Just not sure if it would, you don't know if it's real. I mean, it could be like one officer, not the police department. The big officer, the guy that they, keep as a regular patrolman his whole career. Because they're all small, and they hate him because he's big. Sound familiar? They always try to be number one. They can't even be number 50. Right. They made false statements when I came into Pennsylvania. Well, I don't know if they're really false statements. Well, you're not the judge of anything. Whoa! We'll just remove that power. If I was at the gym, I'd be pumping on here. No, he attacked me. I'm not putting up with it. Again, I put up with a lot. I mean, well, fuck you too. Again, my language is perfect. When I charted the course for my life, you destroyed it. Then God made my language perfect for that moment. Do you understand how that works, all? There's no way to neutralize you without the word fuck. I'll tell you that. And I guarantee you, Rabbi Yeshua ben David, if he was born in this time period, he would have used the word fuck. It may have actually used whatever it was back then. He did curse people. You have to understand something about the scriptures. You're altering what it says to fit what you all want it to say. Healing is a form of magic. But yet, if you read the way you translate it, nobody's supposed to use magic. Which means nobody's supposed to heal anybody. I was just speaking to, I don't even remember what spirit it was the other day, and I said, the only thing, I don't remember who it was. Maybe a person, I can't remember, but I mean inside. But I think it was a spirit. And I said, healing is more effective than praying. Praying is like weak milk. Healing is, quote unquote, strong meat, even though I'm a vegetarian. Right. I mean, that's taking ownership, taking command. Make it happen, make it happen. Right. But I'll tell you right now, that Rabbi Yeshua ben David cursed people. First, I just thought it was Saul Paul. But Jesus did it. Why? Because he's Jewish. Now, Jesus said, greater work shall you do. So if his curses fail, a greater work would be to reestablish that effort. Again, if you'd have left my life be above a certain point, which means finding a wife, another wife, finding this, actually letting my wife have a normal life instead of cursing us so she would have an accident and then having a doctor addict her to all these narcotics. Right. The fact is, the deep state could have rammed her. Right. They're not beyond it. But they put shit in her head all the way through it, so I couldn't control her. And then when she took the extra I know what happens when somebody takes narcotics, and especially larger doses. Right. They lose inhibitions. And then they'll attack the person more so. So again, we need to find out whether Mrs. Good or her wife were on any type of narcotic, or if you can't, get a toxicology, interview people, pay them some money. Don't pay them a lie. Pay them some money for their truthfulness if they'll be truthful. And did they purchase cannabis? Did they purchase opiates, meth? Right. Yeah, let me into Minnesota. See, they knew it, man. Ruined my life so I couldn't work. Right. They were afraid of it. Because they were deep stating the courthouse, and it could have even been billionaires being part of it. I don't know. Right. But somebody was deep stating the courthouse, and I saw them. That's what freaked them out. I actually saw them. So then they tried to make up some cockamamie story where I was stalking them. And because I was in the middle of the investigation, I just let it go for a while. Then I was getting ready to turn in the Glen A. fine, and I was like, well, I'll just leave this on my desk. Maybe it'll go away. Because it said, Office of Independent, or the Office of the Attorney, or what is it? The Inspector General of the Justice Department. It just had something. I don't remember what it was, but I printed it out and I put it on my desk because I had a feeling they were visiting my desk when I wasn't there. And they just increased the money, increased the activity. But again, push came to shove. I was pretty much, a few more months and I was gone. Right. They decided to increase it, and God said, time to pull a chute. Now, they're evil, man, beyond evil. Just because I'm alive and I had some life doesn't mean anything. They torture me every step of the way, bringing women or taking women that were there and doing shit to them. Right. Now, something even told me today is that, there's no doubt that you probably had in each community at least 10 women you could have married. It's just they're not going to do it when the deep state's doing that. Right. Again, some of them ended up having sex with those women, trying to allege that's what I was doing. But it's a scam. DHS officers do this. HSI, right? PI. They come in and say they're rescuing them from me, so that weakens the woman in reference to them and their sexual approach. Right. Oh, you're saving me and my kids from this man. I look at these women like they're nuts, man. Every time they had that act, like, because cop would touch me, he's going to try to have sex with you and your kid, or rape you and then rape your kid, or whatever it was. But how do I know? Because you wanted me to know. You thought it was funny. Right. Acting like, oh, how do you know if you weren't a criminal? That's another scam. How does this person know what we're investigating if he didn't do it? Because they put it in front of you all day for decades till you say something. Right. First, they say, oh, he's guilty. He's not saying nothing. And then about 8 years into it, well, after I leave the government, I start saying something. They go, oh, he's guilty. He said something. That's how they do it. It doesn't matter what the truth is. Doesn't matter what you do. Right. You can shut up. You can speak out. It doesn't matter. Oh, Mrs. Good and her wife are the same ilk as the pieces of shit in government that do that kind of crap. Right. But again, like I was trying to say, I think it didn't come out right because they didn't want it to come out right. This isn't my problem at all. It's between you and the Mrs. Goods of this world. I'm here to help because there are people, innocent trans people, innocent heterosexual couples, innocent people that go to the fake churches, innocent people that go to fake synagogues. I'm here to help them be quote-unquote innocent. But they've been projecting, oh, you get your money, don't do that. Don't. And I send back, I hope they receive it. Don't do that. If you got money, give it to me and that's it. Don't tell me you're going to give it to me because then it turns into some bullshit. They're projecting, you're going to get your money because that's their fucking head. That's their devil, evil, bitch-ass head. LDS, you don't like listening to bitch-ass? Then quit stalking me and you won't hear bitch-ass. Idiots. Devil idiots. Now, it comes up now that this is part of who was in the CIA, FBI that was going after me. It was LDS the whole time. Although there are others again. Right. Holier than thou's. Sexualizing a man for fucking 30 years. All you had to do was not do that when I got to your church. I would have never known. Right. Just let me have a church experience. And I would have never known it was you. I would have praised you from one end of heaven to the other. And quite frankly, God would have allowed that. God's not like you think he is. If I had found a home in the LDS church, God would have praised you all and expected me to praise you. Because God's not stuck on what happened 20 years ago if today rectifies it. But again, you're going to go to hell because you did step over the line. They were trying to sexualize me in their meeting house. May have happened in the temple, but I wasn't sure. I was like, what's going on here? It's got a weird feel. I was a little scared in the temple. I had a weird feeling. There was this couple that was kind of like all happy with each other. I'm like, are they on GBH or something? What's going on here? Or GHB, should I say. It was weird. But more power to them. They were probably married and were chosen by somebody. Maybe they gave up sex when they were young. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. Could be just like the other cults. Right. Give up sex to the boss man, and then you get to work for Facebook or X or something. You know, get to work as a president or a temple. Right. Believe me, you ain't beyond that. Because when you attacked me in the church and you tried to sexualize me in the church, that was a big issue. But the question is, what were you hiding? Right. That's what makes, again, you didn't have to do any of that. You just, actually, I would have probably just left over here. Actually, I'd probably end up in Cranberry and lived with the, actually, you know what? I bet you that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone to their church. I bet you I'd have been somewhere else. Right. They ain't trying to get me. Oh, believe me, the will was there for me to move into Cranberry and then be near the LDS, and they can come. And I'm sure there's LDS here. Right. Oh, corrupt, man. A sex cult, no doubt. Right. So now all those statistics. See, I was like, wow, your system sounds great. All your kids are doing great, better than everybody else. This is amazing. You know, Larry in religion. I'm like that every time. But it turns out that it's probably bullshit. Right. Well, I mean, you got money, well heeled, that's it. Anybody else, they put out. Right. Oh, there's no doubt child sex going on there. Right. What happens is, here's how society works. Somebody gets busted. And if it's somebody like an LDS, then the spycraft operators get called. And they get hired to hush it up. So then you won't, someone will get killed, somebody will lose everything they have. Whoever's the dirty person will get something in life like $1 million. And then nobody will say anything for another like 10 years. That's how it works. Thank you, Larry. They're part of it. There's no way that they're not part of it. So the last thing they wanted me to be is in another religion, powering that religion. See, that's what it's about. I have power. No, they have anti-power. They have money. They have mundane earth shit. I have power. And of course, it all comes from God and all the glory to God. Right. In fact, if I had money, we'd be forward of all the bullshit. It would already, what I say would have already projected better. And I don't project it, but the system would. Because it would see me as wealthy. No, and I'd had a wife. The first thing I wanted to do was meet a woman and get married again. Right. But they all made up all these stories. Made them afraid, all sorts of shit. I'd have been married before I left the Marshal Service. It wasn't for, I don't know who it was in Philadelphia that did it, but they went after that Korean woman. Right. No, there was no way that woman would have gave me up. I've never had, well, again, I don't go into those situations a lot, but I've never had anybody just like, you're mine. Right. I mean, she didn't say it, but that was definitely it. Now, there's even the possibility that the phone calls were blocked. It's that bad. Right. Like I call her, she doesn't receive anything. She calls me, I don't receive anything. It's that bad. Right. Nextel was definitely in on it. Now, I don't know if I had a Nextel. I can't remember what I had. Right. No, I might not have. If I could have got with that woman, and they know how it works. If I could have got with that woman, I may not have left the Marshal Service because I would have enough power. And I could have spoke to her, and she said, "Well, go call this person. We'll go call," and then give me the support I needed to get somewhere. Right. Oh, they want to be dead, man. You're talking, oh, why you like this? You're talking about people trying to kill me for 30 years, man, using CIA technology. I've been drugged. I was probably, some people even said, cops should communicate. I bet you were poisoned. It just didn't work. There are cops that said they believe I was poisoned. That's what a lot of that sickness is from. They saw Karen Shelton in the kitchen with my food, and what did she do? Oh, there's something wrong with his food. That's how deep state works, man. They reverse everything. They learn how to reverse. Again, Ice Watch. That's how they teach the deep state, with the same bullshit. Right. Reverse everything. Dehumanize your victim. So she gets caught in my food, and all of a sudden she's there protecting everybody because my food's bad. Right. See, there's no doubt whoever the contract workers for Dynacor were, I knew Dynacor was bullshit. I wasn't still awake yet, but I knew Dynacor was bullshit. Oh, we're going to do downside the government and hire some contractors. It turns out they're assassins for criminal spy organizations. Lures me to go to lunch after they separate me from women, block me from women for years and stress me out and try to turn me off. She wants to go to lunch with a friend. They'd have pulled it off if they hadn't hadn't used so much or whatever it was. Satan said LSD. Or not Satan, the spirit said Satan. I guess Satan used LSD. Right. They say that's what caused Jonathan. What I got was that's what caused Jonathan Luna to commit suicide. Don't know if he was real-time drugged or drugged prior. Right. That's why if you look at my history, I looked up LSD and suicide. Thank you, Larry. It's one of the first things I looked up when I woke up. So I go to lunch, and it's the only time, I knew at that point not to be unpredictable. I knew that. So we schedule lunch. It was all set up. I go to lunch, I take one bite. One bite, I could feel it. I wasn't paranoid at all. I was happy to be with a woman. Probably the happiest day of my life that week prior to being drugged. But again, I was like, all right, keep going. Remember, while they're doing this to me, 9/11 happened. Again, that's your shit. That's not my shit. Right. I got nothing to do with causing 9/11. I was security before that. I was security after that. Right. Or national security. Kind of mind. Right. You're the ones that can't do anything right. Because you're like Mrs. Good. You're like her wife. And Ice Watch. In reality. Thank you, Larry. So again, you did pay for it. And are still paying for it. Russians are paying for it. Ukrainians are paying for it. That's the money that killed Bob. Right? Or some of the money. Right. That's how bad it is. People like Mueller, Comey, they got Ukrainian friends. You saw like Trump and Giuliani had Ukrainian friends. They got Russian friends, Ukrainian friends. They don't give a shit, man. As long as that friend is money friend. Right. So CIA, same thing. Mueller, Comey, same thing. Right. But again, the FBI's got the scam. Oh, there are informants. Anytime an FBI enters into a criminal conspiracy, oh, there are informants. Right. So you've been paying for it, all of you. Russians are paying for it. It's insane. I tried to get them out of it. I said, Lord, I can't get it. Well, they're not going to get out of it till the curse goes away. In fact, if they're cursing me, I just cursed them again. Yeah, the best thing you could ever do was just let me live my life. Cheapo life with a little house on the Philly or something like that. Not a little house on the prairie, a little house on the Philly. And just let me find a nice woman to just be happy with the rest of my life. What you should have done. No, God's not in control on this planet. I already explained it. Don't try to pull that shit. The scriptures don't even say God's fully in control back then if you really know how to read it. Well, because you have to read it and then ask God a question and I'll answer you. Well, maybe, I guess. I don't know. You probably curse God off and he won't answer any of it. He can't, he's cursed off. Because you call him Satan. They call Jesus and God Satan. They really do. Well, he talks to Satan all day. They call him Jesus and God. So again, the Russians made a lot of money of it. CIA people made a lot of money, but the world's a mess. Now, some of them living good life, but that's what the hell's about. That's what hell's about. Again, if you had a bad life, and even if you're a bad person, God be like, oh, you're going home. You had enough. Right. But most people that have a bad life aren't bad people. Right. It's the way the evil wired it. Well, it's an update. I come through the planet, God's judging it. I'm witnessing it. The update is it should end as soon as possible. I don't know why Jesus didn't see a lot of it, but right. And maybe he did. Maybe they found a way out of it being destroyed back then. Well, there is rumor that Jesus was a vegetarian. You would lead to... Well, the thing is you have to understand, it tells you in the scripture... Here, I'll give you an example because somebody's going to fight it, and they're already trying to fight it with thought. Because it's there from before. You can read about you're not supposed to restrict anything. Everything's there for your use, so you shouldn't be a vegetarian, right? But what about the Nazarites? They didn't eat everything. They didn't drink everything. Right. So again, there is a thought that there is a vegetarian priesthood based upon scripture. Well, when Hashem says, and I didn't know this at the time, I just woke up as a seer psychic and I couldn't eat meat. I could feel, it didn't feel right anymore. It wasn't like some cult that turned me into being a vegetarian. Right? It was slowly dying, then it completely went. I couldn't get near meat, but I woke up big. But the Lord says that the Lord doesn't, and this is God, not Jesus. You say Lord and they put Jesus in the head. Jesus said, sorry, Larry. So God says in the scripture that he doesn't like the blood of animals. And of course, if you ask God about that, he'll tell you, no, I don't. And that's it. Vegetarian time. Right. So again, you are paying for it all. COVID, you paid for it all. Now, you all tried to torment me with COVID, but I told God it was okay before it happened. Not that I said bring COVID. I was in Oklahoma, and they kept get me, and I said, God, fire for effect on my Greek ordinance. Don't hold back just because of me. It's gone. It's too far gone. Right. And then COVID came. No lie. Thanks, Larry. I use those exact words. Because that's a trick Satan uses. Because he doesn't want, again, deep state uses it also. Because God doesn't want to harm me. Satan knows that and uses that to minimize God's wrath. So I remove that. So again, you're paying for it. Might as well wake up. And yeah, pay me if you could. Because they made my life necessary to have that money to stay safe. And they know it. Right. I didn't get myself in trouble. They put me in everywhere. Nobody would come near me. They wouldn't mess with me. Right. Took the assurance to the police, chief of police, for many of them before they do anything. Right. Or the sack from the FBI. That's how screwed up everything is. So again, you've been paying for it, you will pay for it, and other people have paid in hell. And if you don't want me to say fuck you, either don't listen to me or don't curse me, one or the other, or both. Right. It's the only thing that works right now. If something else worked, I'd use something else. That's why they fight it so much. Because they know it works. But again, you have to understand, when I'm saying this stuff's happening in my apartment, I even oracle their voice. Fuck you, Larry. There's all day they were fucking me. No, they're cops and shit. Right. Fuck you, Larry. Thinking they're funny, thinking I don't hear them. But I can oracle their voice when the Lord, allows me to do it or gives me the power to do it, should I say. Right. And actually, it's the Lord helping me hear them. Because the Lord knew tonight would come. So he wanted me to know why it would come, I guess. I was just like, knock it off, stop it, fool you too. Right. Sorry. Might need to investigate the officers. Because they'll play this game where it's about me, not about the effort. And that's bullshit. Right. Right. If you're not doing it, you're not affected. But I can feel you. I know you did it. No, I wasn't going to talk all night or part of the night and have things falling around me, things jamming into my cabinet. Lucky nothing didn't damage the cabinet. Right. I can tell you your curses pick up. The Ayatollah don't have way here in the United States till somebody in the government or somebody with money sells out. I'll tell you that right now. So don't tell me it's the Ayatollah, because you tell me you're working for the Ayatollah if you tell me that. Right. Every religion's a self-contained unit. Every city, state, the nation's a self-contained unit. Satan doesn't get in until somebody sells out. And believe me, there are trans people that are with God. I know they are. In fact, at my lowest point years ago, when I was healthier, right, and I believe I was drugged to that, I was in Indianapolis. And the only people who prayed for me were the trans women. And the government thought it was funny, because they're going to block me from women. The only people, if I want to have any type of social interaction, this is how devil they are, was to speak with well, if you're looking for a woman, you don't want to speak to trans women, you want to speak to women. Am I right? Or are you just going to be stupid? And I'll fuck you again. So they think it's funny, they're going to make it so I have to talk to the trans women and tell stories about them. I've been doing that trans women thing for years. I even got them to bring trans women to me. I laugh at them. They got so mad. This is what they do to married men while I destroy their marriage. Again, so when they're doing this to me, I'm like waking up, and I'm like, I mean, more than the average person's waking up, because this investigation's going to the fact that all these men, like even what's his name? Who's the guy that worked for the HHS? Was it or who was that? Was it the Surgeon General? She? I don't know. She used to be from Pennsylvania. The trans woman, even her. That whole midlife thing she went through, deep state. Granted, she's trans. She can't go any other direction. They put enough spells on her. But that's what it is. Deep state made Levin, what's her name? What's her name? Like, I know these things. And I'm like, oh my God, all these men, the midlife crisis, it's the CIA. And then I'm like, oh, in about 10 to 12 or 9 to 12 years, people will have, in law enforcement, federal law enforcement, it's found will have an internal affairs investigation. Deep state. It's not real. Right. So you see how they do it. Oh, but more the statistics says that around that time you would have that somebody, it's bullshit. They time it to coincide with the statistic they created. So they can get rid of who they want to get rid of, and then rule in who they want to rule in. So I'm like learning all this, and then like all the psychiatric medicine. Ah, it's the deep state. People are going crazy. They're driving them crazy. This is real. I'm not lying. All the information, like all the questions we had, was being answered. And it wasn't just happening natural. And they get off on it because I know it and I can't do anything about it. So they like, So they show me, they'll show me some of it and laugh about it. No, people do not have an internal affairs investigation naturally people do all the way through their career. But the reason it's between 9 and 12, that's when the deep state comes in and says yes or no. Or 8 and 12. I can't even remember what the years were. Something in there. Right. But again, what do you think they're doing years before they start setting it up? So I'll say it again. So I had these, I think her name's from Levin, right? I'm trying to find my phone. No, the only reason she's trans is somebody made her trans. But it doesn't matter. It's just the only reason this person's a billionaire, the only reason that person's, golfs, a lot of times that's what it is. Right. All right. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.